What's up, everybody? This is Craig from 9Volt Games, and today I am going to do my Metal Gear Solid collection. And by me saying Metal Gear Solid, I mean only the Solid series, not Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Acid, or not Metal Gear, the one for the MSX and the N64, or Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge, which actually wasn't even supposed to be released, mainly because I don't have them. This is just Solid and Up. Right now, I do not have the PSP versions. I'll get into why when I get to Snake Eater, why I don't have those. But, yeah, let's get right to it. Obviously, let's start right with the beginning. I didn't take one down. God damn it. I'll get it right now. Alright, we'll get right to the beginning. Right to the beginning here. Metal Gear Solid. Yes, this is the PlayStation 1 version. I bought the collection a while back. I think it came out actually sandwiched right between when they did, was it Subsistence, right? Subsistence for Snake Eater. And then they did this collection, which made Subsistence a rare game. If you have a copy of that, it's worth like $217, I think was the last average that I checked. However, this collection was pretty cool because I never really owned Metal Gear Solid 1. I actually borrowed it from my friend Mike. That's how I got into the series. By the time I actually got around to buying it, Metal Gear Solid 2 was out, so I ended up just buying Metal Gear Solid 2. However, I do have both versions now of Metal Gear 1. So the original PlayStation 1 version, I bought the one on the PlayStation Network, and Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, which I did a review for already, which, since it should be tagged, it will probably be in the whatever side. This is a great game, man, and it's not my favorite in the series, but I think that the best way to play it, obviously, I think I said it before, would be to go with Twin Snakes. However, if you do want the nostalgic feel of the series, obviously you probably want to go with Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. It was awesome. You can't really fall for the trick on this one about contacting Meryl because it was on the back of the package, because there's nothing on the back of the package. However, I bet you it's in the back of here. No, it is not. You'd be so screwed if you had this copy. However, I have this one, so I know what her frequency is. But Metal Gear Solid 1, totally an essential in anybody's collection. Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 1. No excuse for you not to have it. Here's my extensive Metal Gear Solid 2 right here. I have 4 copies of Metal Gear Solid. I have Guns of the Patriots. I mean, whoa, Jesus Christ. Let me stop getting ahead of myself. I have Sons of Liberty, the original Sons of Liberty. Okay? I have Sons of Liberty in a generic GameStop case. Don't ask me why I have 2. I don't know why I have 2. I think I was going down and I just saw it and I picked it out because it was cheap. I have this, which was, at one time, this is... Actually, you know what? I'll still go by and say this is a superior version. This is the Xbox version of Metal Gear Substance. This was phenomenal when it came out. In fact, Konami did this for Xbox originally. They did it with Silent Hill. They did Restless Dreams, which was an enhanced version of Silent Hill 2. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 came out on PlayStation, and then they did an enhanced version for Xbox, which was Substance, which had like VR Mission, the Snake's Tales, blah, blah, blah. Ended up getting carried up to PlayStation 2. They released Substance on this collection, and they ended up doing Subsistence for 3. So what started on Xbox eventually gradually went into, the special editions of these games. I was kind of bummed out they didn't do it for 4. I thought they were going to do some special version. But the wacky subtitles, I just think it's funny that it started there on Xbox, and now that Metal Gear is jumping back to Xbox with Raiden Rising, now they're going to call it what? Revengeance? Re-Revengeance? Something like that. I just think it's funny that the subtitles are starting back while it's jumping back to Xbox. And then this is the PlayStation 2 version of Substance, which came in that collection I was talking about. Metal Gear Solid 2 was one of my favorite games for a long, long time. It was my favorite Metal Gear, but we'll get to that. I might be the only person in the world who wasn't offended when he had to play as Raiden. I like Raiden. I think Raiden was awesome. I like Quentin Flynn. I think everybody, the voice actors that they had in the series, like, they were really good in the first one, like Cam Clark and stuff. They really stepped it up hard. I look like a fisting motion. They really stepped it up in Metal Gear 2, and it was just an epic game, man. I mean, I invested so much time into it. I beat it so many times, and I loved it. And then we get to this one, Metal Gear Solid 3. This is Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, I believe, the Subsistence version. I didn't like it. A lot of people, I'm probably going to get a thumbs down for that, because I know a lot of people love Metal Gear 3. I did not really love Metal Gear 3. And it's not because the characters, once again, the voice actors were great, the story was good, the characters were awesome, so you're like, what's wrong? Why didn't you like the game? It's my least favorite of the Metal Gear Solid series. It's still obviously a good game. I don't like the time period that it took place in. I do not like the time period. It's the whole 70s spy espionage theme. I don't like it. It's overdone. Reminded me a lot of like a James Bond. I don't like James Bond. I may be the only person on earth, but I don't. I really don't like James Bond. I tried. I really tried to like James Bond. But that's what the game felt like to me. It felt like a James Bond, and I really didn't like it. However, I did muscle through it. It did have some memorable bosses, you know. But that's it, man. I just really didn't like it that much. This one, though, Metal Gear Solid 4. Obviously, I bought the limited edition. Metal Gear Solid 4, for me, is the best in the series simply because I was not going to buy a PS3, at least not as soon as I did. I bought PS3 for Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 is my favorite in the entire series. Everything came together so well. Like I said in the last one, I did not like Metal Gear 3 as much as the other ones. I really liked it when it all tied together in 4. I don't know, man. There's just something about that game it's awesome to me. I will go back. The cutscenes are so long, but I will go back and I will play through the end again just because it was so epic. You know, I don't want to ruin anything, but I can at least say this: it won't ruin much. When you're crawling through that, when you're at the end and you're crawling through that corridor with Snake, and your arm and wrist is getting tired, your forearm's getting tired because you keep pressing that triangle button. Like, it was insane. And then you get to it and you're just presented with this like amazeballs fucking cutscenes, and then the next part that happens, obviously. But I mean, it was great. I did appreciate the special cameos that were in the game from the past, and I think it all tied together really, really great in the end. I can't talk about it too much without doing a spoiler, and I don't want to do any spoilers because I do know that we have a viewer and a friend who has not played it yet, and I don't want to ruin it for him, but get to playing it. But yeah, now I can tell you why the gap in between for the PSP ones. I didn't like Metal Gear Acid, and just because I didn't like the time period of Metal Gear 3, that's the reason that I don't own Portable Ops and Portable Ops Plus. However, I do have Peace Walker because it came on this. I wasn't super into my PSP back then when Peace Walker came out. This is not used. This is fucking littered it with news stickers. Ugh. But yeah, I wasn't into my PSP hardcore when Peace Walker came out, and Peace Walker did look really good. However, I'm glad they put it on the HD collection. A lot of you are like, Craig, why didn't you buy this on the PlayStation? The PlayStation version. The PlayStation version is superior. Yes, I do hear that the PlayStation version is superior. However, because I already own all these and I did buy a collection for the PS2, I felt that I should give it a chance and buy it here. Just because I want achievements, and if I want to play through 2 again, which I started, and 3, which I also did start, this is the way to do it. This also comes with the MSX versions of the game, of the Metal Gear 1 and 2. And that's it, man. I think that it's great. I really don't want to see Metal Gear continue with Snake, because once again, I don't want to ruin anything for you guys. But Metal Gear is definitely an influential series on my life as a gamer. I thoroughly enjoy the series. I like how they intertwine American and Russian and all kinds of histories together as one, and they weave their story within real history, which is totally awesome. And I can totally attribute this for being like the main drive for me being such a history junkie in high school up until now. And even now, I'll sit down, I'll watch World War II, I'll watch Cold War, anything related to old wars, and just be like, oh, you know, this is where they put this in. And like, I live near Enrico Fermi High School, which is where Dan went to high school, and Enrico Fermi is in the Metal Gear database somewhere because he helped create the, what's it, nuclear fission, you know, the whole concept. And it's just awesome to the way that Kojima did this. And it's definitely one of his greatest masterpieces, and the guy will die a legend because of this. But yeah, hope I get to see that man at PAX. I highly doubt it, but I wish to do. Yeah. But that's it. That's I think it's a pretty beefy collection. I do need the Nintendo ones, like I said. I don't really care if I get the PSP ones or not. But stay tuned, because my next collection video will be... Here's a hint. Thank you guys for watching.